Hello and welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Gilda with her fantastic film, Before Dawn, Cabal Time. Let's take a look at a clip. Gilda, I'm honestly honored to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Your performance in the film that you and your team made is incredible. For those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis.
Okay, well, our film is actually inspired by actual true events that happened last summer when America announced their withdrawal from Afghanistan. And so we kind of follow those events. Our writer-director, Tara, actually loosely based this film on her real experiences. As the events were unfolding and she was watching the news, she got concerned about her friend who was actually in Afghanistan at the time. She reached out to her friend and asked if she was okay, and her friend expressed the need to, help me get out. And so the next 24 hours, Tara spent trying to figure out how to get her friend out before it was too late. And so this story follows Noor Safi, who I play, and she's an Afghan female attorney who seeks the help of an American journalist to evacuate before it's too late.
There's so much in this film that is so important to share. Firstly, I just want to again commend you on your fantastic performance.
Thank you.
And I'm sure, being from the beautiful country of Afghanistan, it was really, really important to you to play this role, but also identify with the actual circumstances that are actually happening right now. It brings me tears just thinking about your performance because, it really is something that we should be speaking so much more about in the world. How did you get involved in the project, first of all, and what was this like taking on this role for yourself?
Well, for me, at first it was really refreshing to see an Afghan female character that wasn't your stereotypical hijabi-wearing, passive, submissive, non-English speaking wife or terrorist. Noor is an empowered, intelligent, articulate lawyer. And so I was like, what? This is an Afghan character? That was my first thought, and I was really excited to read the description of the character. And then when I read the script, I fell in love with it and auditioned for it. And Tara was great because she was really passionate about the project. So I felt honored to be a part of it. So I did the traditional audition, callback, chemistry reads, and all of that. But just being from Afghanistan myself, I was born in Afghanistan, in Kabul, actually. And I was 4 when my family and I escaped when the Russians invaded. So the only memories I have of my country are those of escaping.
Yeah.
And although I was only 4, the sights and sounds of war are so hard to forget. To this day, 4th of July is just kind of my least favorite holiday because it sounds so much like the escape.
Wow.
So when the evacuations happened last August, it was like reliving those moments. I was that little girl again, and I kind of felt the fear that the people were going through. And I also felt this sense of shame and guilt because I'm so blessed to be in America, to be chasing my dreams, dressing the way I want, expressing myself, and knowing that the women and young girls in Afghanistan, they have none of those rights. They basically live as prisoners in their own homes. They can't leave their houses without a male chaperone. If they do leave with a male chaperone, they have to be covered from head to toe. Young girls are not allowed to go to school or get an education. Women can't pursue their careers. And it's just really disheartening to see that happened all the while the global community remained silent. And as an Afghan American, I'm proud to be an American, but I'm also proud to be Afghan. But I feel helpless because I don't know what I can do to help. I mean, you can give to charities and donate and go to fundraisers and raise awareness. But if the global community doesn't step in to put pressure on the Taliban regime, it's just going to get worse.
Well, you are helping with this film. Let me tell you that. Like, you know, this film should be everywhere for everyone to see because you know it's such a powerful impact, immediate impact of what people should know, what ones are going through, and it's. I was going to say because you've got this beautiful necklace, which is from Afghanistan, right?
Yes.
And it must be hard because there's so much beauty from this beautiful country and so much beautiful culture. It must be really hard to see that suffering. And I want to say, you know, in that respect as well, because of course you want to go back there and experience it and enjoy it for the greatness that it is. But, you know, I mean, it must have been so hard to kind of have a bit of self-reflection and playing on this role. Did it feel, was there any kind of liberating part of like, oh my goodness, I hope this gets into the hands of just helping the world know what they're going through and how we need to help these Afghan women and help that change?
Yeah, there was a sense of responsibility that I was representing these women who don't have a voice. And it was one of the roles that I played that I didn't really need to act. It was authentic, it came from my heart, and the emotions Noor felt, I felt. You know, there's a part where you basically watch her have this internal battle within herself, like, do I want to go leave my country for good and find a safe haven, or do I want to stay and help and continue to be a part of the solution? So you see this internal struggle within her, and for me, you know, playing her, I kind of had that internal struggle myself, like what if I was able to do something? What if I did go and do something? But the reality is there's nothing I can do as one female, you know? It takes so much more to make a difference. So whatever small thing that I can do with this project to get the word out or, you know, speak for the women who don't have voices, I hope there's some kind of positive impact.
Absolutely, my goodness. And I think also, you know, from obviously your experience of growing up here as well, it was so vast to see on screen, especially on the big screen yesterday, and seeing, you know, this kind of very light Californian sunshine, this beautiful home, and then, the contrast of one powerful woman here, one powerful woman there.
Exactly.
And both powerful in their own rights, but one is going for this indescribable suffering for zero reason of trying to do good. I thought that contrast was shown so well. Did you kind of, how did you feel about that?
I'm so glad you picked up on that because I was going to say that you see these women who are intelligent and strong and empowered on two separate sides of the world, but they're still, you know, strong and independent, and one is trying to help the other, and you see both of them struggle. You know, one is, you know, trying to get this woman out, this task of, you know, using all her resources and connections to make sure she gets this woman out safely, and the other, the battle of, okay, do I want to stay? Am I abandoning my homeland? Am I abandoning these girls? Because Noor's character is a lawyer, and she worked hard to become a lawyer, and she takes pride in her work and helping the Afghan girls. And what she did was help Afghan girls leave their abusive husbands. And she also put away a lot of the Taliban. And the same people she put in jail are now free, and they're now leading the country. So her life is definitely in harm's way. So she's like, do I stay? Do I leave? So, but like you said, you see the two polar ends of the spectrum. They have so many similarities, but they're in different worlds.
And both powerful women in just happy different places. You know, again, I think this film is going to hopefully be put out there as far and wide as possible because the global community needs to understand and know and support of what one's going through and not silence this. Now that you've kind of taken on this role and sharing it with audiences, what has the reaction been like for you?
For me, as what I'm seeing from it,
as an actor, and also experiencing like people that have seen your film, how's the reaction been for you?
It's been very positive, and the same reaction you had, your feedback, I keep getting that, and I kind of feel weird because I wasn't acting. It was like really an authentic feeling that I had. So the connection I had with this character was very authentic. And I'm kind of thinking like, okay, if I do another role and I don't have that connection, am I still going to perform as well?
Oh, you're a great actress. Don't worry.
We'll
no, you're
see.
great. No, and I think one of the things that you mentioned as well, which was, you know, it must have been like refreshing because, you know, as you know, there's been some very, very poor casting, you know, previously, and to get a breakdown, find that it's actually refreshing for you, as pride in your country, pride in who you are as a person, and the kind of roles. Is that? I mean, that's something we need to continue to make change in as well, right?
Yes. I mean, it's so important to have more diversity in
Yeah.
Hollywood and represent the viewing audience.
Yeah.
And people don't really know about Afghanistan. The
Yeah.
only thing they know is what they see
In the media.
in the media,
Yeah.
in movies. They just see terrorists most of the time, or women who are covered up. I remember when 9/11 happened, and I would say I was from Afghanistan. People were like, "You're from Afghanistan? You don't look Afghan." I'm like, "What does an Afghan look like?"
Right. Yeah.
There's Afghans who are fair
Yeah.
and blue eyes like you,
Yeah.
and then people that look like me with darker skin and darker hair.
Yeah.
But people don't know that, and I think it's so important to reflect all of humanity
Yeah.
on TV and film.
Absolutely.
And it was great to have, I don't know if you watched the show United States of Al
Yes.
on CBS.
Yeah, it's so good.
But unfortunately, after 2 seasons, they canceled it. So it was like, yes, we're making progress, but then it went away. But like I said, this character was very refreshing because in the 5 years that I've been acting, I've had 4 different Afghan roles that I've auditioned for, one being Noor. But the other 3 were no English, submissive, very shy, hijabi wearing. So it's always been very disappointing until I got this character. And she wears like a headscarf, but only when she walks outside because the Taliban are outside. But for the most part, she's very different from the characters I've auditioned for before.
Well, we need to make sure you're writing those scripts then soon
Yes,
as well,
yes.
right? That's the next thing.
Exactly.
No, but listen, you did a really fantastic job, and
Thank you.
I just, I know we've kind of briefly touched upon this, but if you could, now that you've made this film, and having so much pride, in this beautiful country, just going through a really, really rough time, what do you hope to take from this film, like, idealistically? What would you like people to know out there to know?
If anything, if people have a platform, whether it's on social media or YouTube, talk about Afghanistan, talk about Afghan women. Don't let the country be forgotten, because
Yeah.
time and time again, Afghanistan is forgotten. And I don't know if you're a journalist, write about it.
Yeah.
And if you're a teacher, teach about it.
Yeah.
And we also have to make sure that our elected officials keep Afghanistan in the forefront.
Yeah.
We can't let them forget about Afghanistan. As normal humans, all we have is our social media and
Yeah.
talking to our friends and our community. But it's very important for elected officials to make Afghanistan a priority and take proactive action to do something about Afghanistan. Because Afghanistan in 9/11, because the world forgot about Afghanistan, terrorists used Afghanistan as a training ground. And now it's happening again. Like, people are forgetting about Afghanistan, and it's going to be another breeding ground for terrorists from other parts of the world. It's not, the Taliban aren't from Afghanistan. They're from other fundamental Islamic countries that came to Afghanistan to train. And then 9/11 happened. And if the global community doesn't do anything, it'll happen again, unfortunately. So America is at risk as well.
Yeah.
So the global community needs to put pressure on the Taliban so they don't continue to grow stronger. And our elected officials in America need to keep Afghanistan in the forefront. We need to make sure that we continue to advocate for Afghanistan, especially women and children,
Yeah.
and donate to fundraisers and
Yeah.
charities. There's one called Embrace Relief, and there's another one called Afghan Literacy Foundation, and those are the 2 that I'm really familiar with and I
Yeah.
trust. So donate to charities, talk
Yeah.
about Afghanistan, and just spread the word on social media.
Well, you're doing, such an amazing ambassador yourself, my goodness.
Oh,
But
thank you.
no, honestly, and I'm so glad that you shone the light on this, and we got to do so much they're our neighbors of our world,
Yeah.
protect our women and children, from Afghanistan, and anyone that's suffering, we need to be, hold ourselves accountable to talk about, right?
Yeah.
But as far as you're moving on next, like I can't believe you've only been acting 5 years. Like, I feel like you've done 50 roles. My goodness, you know.
No. I grew up in a very sheltered home, so acting was not an option.
Wow, and so you moved into 5 years ago into acting.
Yes. I did
Wow.
secretly take drama and theater in high school and
Yeah.
in college. My parents never knew. I played Juliet and
You did?
in Romeo and Juliet, and my mom's like, "Are you doing this? What's your role?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just in the background. You don't even see me." There's a kissing scene, and she would have freaked out if she saw me kissing
Wow.
Romeo. So yeah, it was always very taboo in the household. And then I decided, you know what, if I don't do it, I'll regret it.
What does acting mean? Like, what does it mean for you? What does it do
Freedom.
for you? Freedom.
Like I said, my parents were really strict growing up here. And
Yeah.
as a parent myself, I don't blame them. The world is crazy, and they did the best that they could. But I didn't have freedom. You know, I wasn't allowed to pursue my dreams. I couldn't date. I couldn't hang out with friends. It was school and home, school and home. And so acting means that I'm free. I'm chasing my dreams. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm living the life I want to live. And yeah, I love my parents, but they still, to this day, why are you doing this? It's like,
Well,
'cause I
you're very
love it.
good at it as well.
Thank you.
And you know, you gifted us with what you gave us on screen, and I just can't
you.
really see many more roles. And which brings me to say, what next for you? What is next for you? What we put out there on the horizon? What can we?
Well,
what's going on?
I did write, produce, and star in my own short film called Retribution.
Amazing.
And it screened at the Man Chinese Theater a year ago.
Amazing.
So I'm just trying to figure out distribution
Yes.
and trying to get it into other film festivals. And that's also a story about female empowerment. So
Amazing.
I'm excited about that.
Well, we're gonna watch wherever you take us to. But
Thank you.
I just want to say, Rita, thank you so much for bringing this
Thank
really
you.
really
Thank you for
important
having
film, and thank you for being here. Thank you.